Hello everyone, thank you for joining me again today. In the last video, we removed the strut assembly out of the vehicle in a very smooth, easy and quick process. Only 5 bolts to take this whole piece out. And in this video, I will need to take it apart so that the shock absorber can be changed and the strut mounts can be changed. The shock absorber, I'm thinking of changing, not because there's a problem with its function per se, but the bushings are on their way out. And actually this one is not so bad, but the one from the right hand side of the vehicle, I'll put a picture up of that one. That one looks really, really rough. So because of that, I'm changing the shock absorbers. If I'm changing the shock absorbers, I should do the mounts, even though the mounts themselves, at least on the outside, look to be in decent shape. But I will change them, refresh them, and sort of have peace of mind for years to come. So this is the plan for today. Now, one thing I have to say here is that this is a dangerous process to do at home. These tools, I'm using a clamshell-type spring compressor, which is a little bit safer and more heavy duty, more rigid. What I would recommend, if you have the option and you have this out of the car, put it in the trunk of another vehicle, drive it to a shop, and just say, hey guys, can you just please compress the spring and take this off for me, right? It will probably not cost a lot of money, and you have peace of mind. Now, at the moment, this assembly is under pressure. The spring is trying to push up and expand a little bit further, and the only thing holding it from achieving that is this one nut here in the middle, this one. What needs to happen is I need to compress the spring in order to relieve the pressure on this plate and on the nut. When the pressure is relieved, the nut can be safely removed, and then the spring could be decompressed back with all the sort of pieces, components, and the spring itself sliding out of the shock absorber. So that's the process. We'll get on to executing it now. This is the assembly from the right hand side. Again, this is a dangerous process. If you have safety gear, now is the time to wear it. Safety goggles, helmet, face shield, gloves, anything you have, put it on. This is for later. We need to tighten first. All right, let's go. I'll take this off after. It's pretty much fused together. I want to release the pressure so that we don't keep the spring compressed any longer than absolutely necessary. All right, we have the top strut mount removed from the rest of the assembly. We'll talk about the mount itself later, so for now I'm just putting it off to the side. And what we have here is actually, this is the very bottom part of the mount, but it is still well attached to the spring. I can pull it off, but there's really no need for that because I am not changing the springs. The springs will remain as they are, so there's no reason for me to take this off. It will just stay in place. Hopefully it doesn't fall off on its own. And it's actually a similar situation down here where the spring with this sort of gradual plastic washer is still attached to this bottom metal seating surface. Again, I would rather see the spring and the surface remain so almost fused together. There is no reason for me to take them apart because all I want to change here is the shock itself, which goes through the middle. So we'll see if the spring would remain here or it will just fall off as we start taking the shock out. The next step here is to take the shock absorber out of the rest of the components. Now, this metal seating surface onto which the spring rests is just like a ring that slides on top of the absorber itself. To take it out, it has to move that way along the absorber, and then it will just come off. Now, I could just get a hammer and start hammering here while holding the shock absorber itself, but what I would like to try is the following. I have this old piece of sort of square profile hollow tubing here, and what I would like to do is I'll place it inside like this, slide it over, and now the tubing is going to be resting onto the shock absorber. When I put this vertical like this, when I have that vertical, essentially I have the green shock absorber solid connection all the way to the ground. And when I'm vertical and I start hammering here onto this surface, I should be able to just slide it down in this vertical position. Now, when I say hammering, I'll actually be using a wooden block. If it doesn't work with the wooden block, I do have a backup in place, but hopefully the wooden block would suffice. All right, let's try this out. This worked out really smoothly, and I really like the fact that this flange, this piece here, and the bottom piece are still attached to the spring. I don't need to take them off, they can stay just as they are. I'll simply place the new shock absorber in here, and then the only thing remaining would be the mount itself. Thank you everyone, best of luck in your upcoming projects, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Take care.